Welcome to episode 4 of Bar Talks with Big. We have Iowa Bourbon Hunter here, brand ambassador for 10th Mountain Division, whiskey and bourbon, vodka, and one more I don't remember. I think it's tequila, right?
They've got a single malt, a rye whiskey, a bourbon. They have a cordial. They have vodka. They have a brandy and a moonshine.
See, there we go.
They got a
So
lot.
I want to start off by having you give a little bit about yourself, about the brand ambassador stuff, and then we'll go from there.
Okay. I'm a Nebraska boy. I was born and raised in Nebraska. Joined the military. Left for 14 years. Came back. I'm no longer in the military. I am a VA commissioner. I'm a service officer for the American Legion. Own a construction company. I keep myself pretty busy with work. Of course, I like to bourbon hunt, so I like to go find the good bottles, you know.
I hear you.
It's just something. Yeah, I'm not far. I was in Ralston last night, jolly time. I was up at Wall to Wall at Shadow Lake as well. But yeah, so I played football for 8 years, wrestled for almost 20 years. So a lot of things I did in my time.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. So you did 14 years in the military?
11.
11?
Yep, I started in the National Guard and then had some life choices and changes that I needed to get away from. So that's when I was like, I'm out of here. Get me out of here full time. I'm gone. So, and then I finished it out there, and then I was in Fort Lewis in Washington State when I got out. I got out of there, and I went to work for Kenworth Truck Company. So,
Kenworth Truck Company? Nice, nice.
Yep.
So, were you a mechanic there, or?
I actually built the semis from the ground up.
Nice. I definitely like some Kenworths, that's for sure.
They're nice trucks, that's no doubt. They are some nice rigs.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, 11 years in the military, you did,
I was 82nd Airborne.
I was just getting ready to say, were you airborne or infantry or?
Yep. Well, I was infantry, but I was still airborne and ranger. Air assault.
Nice. Air assault, nice.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about the brand ambassadoring for 10th Mountain.
Well, I can thank TikTok for that because that's how I actually ended up with it. I was in a live one night in January with Brian, which is the military liaison for sales and service. I was actually sitting in the hospital in Lincoln from having a heart attack that was created by the flu, which caused. So basically, what happened was inflammation from my fevers caused my pericardial sac to swell up and create a problem, and then it started releasing troponin, which then entered my bloodstream and started going on the inside of my heart, which more inflammation, basically. So ultimately, what it came down to is, and that's where I just started talking with him and a couple others, and Brian's a pretty smart guy, so he's giving me some advice while I was sitting there, and he told me to have him run a couple different tests on me, so we had that done to make sure we cleared everything, because he knew exactly what needed to be tested and checked, and so we did that. And, then it just kind of snowballed from there. They just asked if I'd be interested in doing it, and so now I've been doing it for I've done 3 tastings so far, and they've been hit. It's been a success at every one. I was in Nebraska yesterday at Shadow Lake at a Wall to Wall. They want me to do tastings in Nebraska at Hy-Vees and Wall to Walls, so I need to check with Brian and Ryan and see what they want me to do there, because I know I'm on the opposite side of the bridge. I'm tip certified and all that stuff either way, so I should be good to get wherever I go. But like I say, I have these stores order in their booze, and before I walk out the door, I make sure every bottle in that store has been sold. It's gone. So
That's awesome. So how did the process go for you to become a brand ambassador? You know, like you talk to them, and then Do you have to do any classes or anything, or?
Well, so here's what happened. I got a message from the liaison. He's the military sales director. Uh, he sent me a message here and asked if I'd be interested first. So
Mhm.
I gave him an email, and yes, I had to go. Well, I had to go watch some videos. I had to get brushed up on the product and learn about the awards and that kind of stuff that 10th Mountain has achieved with their stuff, and they just keep growing. It's amazing how many awards they're winning with their stuff. It's a small distillery, and then they wanted me to get tip certified, so I went ahead and got tip certified. You know, you got to prove that you're willing to be serious about what you're going to do,
Mhm.
and yeah. So I mean, it just kind of happened. Boom, 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 boom. It just rolled real quick.
Now, when you say tip certified, what does that mean?
It is a alcohol server class that you have to take.
Hmm.
So you can do it online. You can do it in person. I did mine online. It was about a 3.5, 4 hour course online for the state of Iowa.
Hmm.
So and they have you go through. They give you scenarios, and you got to be able to make the right call. And they tell you which avenues that you have to follow, how to do certain things in case of this or in case of that. So you got this situation goes this way. How do you handle it? Or this
Okay.
situation goes this way. How do you handle it? So they want to make sure that what you're doing is that you don't overserve people. You know how to control the room, how to control the situation, know when to say no, you're not getting served, or how to politely defer you from an altercation with somebody that might have had too much to drink.
Hmm.
So they give you avenues and information how to deflect and reflect and kind of control the situation at any time.
Okay. It's understandable. So at the tastings, do you how many products do you bring with you to the tastings?
Depends on what the store wants to bring in. So currently, 10th Mountain has 7 offerings. The state of Iowa only carries 6. They do not carry the moonshine, from what I understand. So it depends on what the store feels is going to move for them. So at least I take at least 4 of the 6 every time.
Okay. Okay.
So they have a brandy. Like I say, they got the brandy, the rye, the single malt, the vodka, the bourbon, the cordial. The cordial is the first thing that sells out every single time. Every single time. It's just amazing. Got a bottle of it right here, I think. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah,
Thank
right
you
there.
for the taps, everybody.
This
Nice.
thing, this is the first thing that sells out every time I do a tasting. And then when we were at the single malt at the last tasting, they brought X amount in, and I probably could have sold 2 more cases above and beyond what they brought in 2.5 hours, 3 hours.
Nice. Nice.
They're like, well, I wish you had more. I'd buy it right now. And I'm like, well, sorry. They bring in what they bring. So
Right. Now, with 10th Mountain, do they source their barrels, or do they do everything there?
I think they do everything in house. They have their own still. They have everything.
Nice. Nice.
I wish I had some of the information down here with me. I had left it at the house, but
Yeah,
I
that's
should have.
fine. That's fine. And
But you can order directly off their website, and they'll ship it directly to your home.
okay. And what is their website?
10th Mountain Whiskey and Spirit Co.
Okay.
So
Okay.
yeah,
So
you
this
just
way,
yeah, you can just plug it into the Google bar, and it'll pull it up.
okay.
Yes, they have a very cool bar in Vail, which is a tasting room at the distillery. And then they also have one in Gypsum, Colorado, which my brother actually is in their parking lot running a smoked meat trailer. He cooks down there and
Okay.
does for them. So it was kind of a whim. It was just kind of happened. It was kind of cool. So
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. So how often do they put out new products, 10th Mountain?
this year, I know they did a 10th year. I don't know how often they have different offerings. I know they do some special releases, but a lot of that stuff I think they keep in house for the employees.
Hmm.
Like I say, I'm relatively new to it, but I know we've talked about it, and they do keep some certain releases for in-house or only at the tasting bars.
Okay.
So, but their mainstream is like say the seven different bottles that they do have. So, but I do know he told me when I talked to him that they do some other stuff, but it's some of it just stays within the employee area.
Okay. Okay. So with 10th Mountain, do they ship everywhere, or do they offer it everywhere, or is it certain places?
Well, I think they use a third party shipper because I have now that I've become a brand ambassador, it shows up in my Facebook more and it allows me to order online and I can have it shipped directly to my house. So typically that happens through a third party shipper like Liquid Rails or whomever
Okay.
would. So I'm pretty sure if unless you're really in a state that is really controlled, like maybe like Virginia or something, might be hard to get it in. But I think most anywhere you can probably get it.
Okay. And I'm gonna back up a little bit. How many years did you play football?
8 years.
8 years. So, and you said you have a construction company.
Yes.
So do you do like remodels or?
Yeah, I do residential and commercial remodels. So
Yeah. So do you do that in Vale? Aaron was asking in the chat.
no, I'm actually in Iowa. I live in Southwest Iowa.
So how long you been doing the construction?
I've been on my own since 2010.
2010. Nice, nice. So what is have you met any like famous people? Have you done any work for famous people or anything like that?
Not so much famous people here. I have met famous people. I met Ken Griffey Jr., Gary Payton, Chris Chelios from the Blackhawks. Most of the people that I met that were famous was when I was in Washington State. Um, but there's been a few. I mean, back when I was in high school, I don't know if any of you know who the band Mister Mister is.
I think I've heard of them before.
Take these broken wings and learn to fly again.
Hmm.
So they were actually underneath the bridge at the Missouri River between Nebraska and Iowa, and I actually met them when they were writing that song. So that was a pretty cool ordeal.
Jolly
Uh,
Time said the glove.
the glove, yeah,
That's
um,
cool.
it is. Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. I mean, there's people that I've met. Yeah, I mean, I can't remember everybody, but I mean, it's not like I have an onslaught of the stars in my pocket, if you
Right,
know what I
right.
mean. But as far
Yeah.
as doing any work for anybody famous around here, no, there really ain't nobody around here the only guy that's really that famous around here would be Larry the Cable Guy. So,
Yeah, that would I think that'd be a not enough work and a lot of play when you
oh
go
yeah,
talk to him.
absolutely. Absolutely.
He'd have you going for sure.
Oh, you can guarantee it.
So Jolly Time said Warren Buffett.
Yeah, he's not far from me. I'd like to get in his pockets and get some of that money. Let me tell you, I got some. I got some of his stock, so
Nice, nice.
I've been
So
drinking water and beer.
so what are you sipping on tonight? I see you picking up the Glen every so often. Oh, E.H. Taylor, that's right. You put it up before I seen it. Yeah, I forgot. I have some of the Old Forester King Ranch that I had in the handshake,
Oh
so
yeah,
I'm trying to finish that up a little bit.
I have not had any of the King's Ranch yet.
No?
No, the 1924. I haven't seen those either. Not here.
Yeah, I don't see it here either, but I have some people who are gracious enough to send me a handshake, so
Sure, sure, understood. I get handshakes. No, haven't had any of those yet. None of those yet.
yeah,
So
for sure, for sure. Um So can you give us a little bit of a rundown on like the cordial? I'm assuming tastes like cherries and chocolate and
Actually, it tastes like peach and vanilla and sage. It's actually not like anything you'd ever have thought. Let me tell you, it is. It is really good. It's a little bit sweeter.
mhm.
It says sage infused peach and vanilla, and
Okay.
it's a sweeter. Um, and a lot of the people around here that have tried this, they use it as a mixer for a old fashioned.
Oh, okay.
It cuts out all the simple syrup and all the other stuff, and they use their bourbon and put this in there with their zest, their orange zest and whatever, and that's all they do. And they actually, I can't tell you, every time I've had those bottles, that's the first thing that runs out the door. Gone.
Aaron, no, we didn't go over a history of 10th Mountain yet.
Not yet.
Um, so some of the other offerings that they have, what are they like? Like the single malt, is it comparable to anything, or is it
It's
you know,
unique. Their
it's
single malt is now their single malt is unique. I mean, actually, all their offerings are different than mainstream stuff.
mm,
So, like single malt, it's it's a good mix, good blend. Um, and it's a 2 year age statement, finished in new American oak barrels. So it's a 90 proof. Um, and it's not like a lot of the single malts. I'm not a big single malt guy, but I actually like their single malt.
okay.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to put a finger on it. I mean, it's just got its own unique flavor to it. I guess their bourbon is like warm and buttery and vanilla and caramel, and it's because it's amazing. And then their straight rye, their 10th Mountain Rye whiskey
Hmm.
is not like a normal whiskey rye whiskey. So it's pretty amazing in itself. I mean, if you it has of course it has the peppery and that stuff. This one is it's an 86 proof. It's not a
Okay.
high proof by any means. So it's just a good rye mix.
Okay.
So
Now, how long are they aged? Are they aged at all, or
2 years.
2 years?
Due to elevation and arid temperatures, of course, of being in the mountains,
Mm,
wide temperature swings and stuff, as we all know. Like when you go down to south, it depends on placement of the rick house where the barrels are at. You know, the higher, the hotter, the lower, that kind of stuff.
correct.
So these are high in elevation, less oxygen in the air. So I mean, it just gives it its own unique blend and flavor into it. I mean, they don't blend these, but they age them. But it's
Mm,
just unique. Everything about it's unique. I mean, I really haven't had on any of these that are like anybody else's. I mean, honestly,
okay.
they are delicious. I mean, don't get me wrong. I really enjoy them. I think they're great. But it is what it is, and it's delicious. And
Right. So, so as the question came up, I was gonna get to it, but we're gonna go to it now. Do you have a little bit of the history of 10th Mountain?
what's that?
Do you have a little bit of a history about 10th Mountain?
Yeah, 10th, 10th Mountain was the base for the mountain division, and they would train rock climbing and skiing and to train to go overseas to like fight in the wars overseas during the time.
Mm,
And they Camp Hale is what it was called. Is where they trained and did their stuff there. So, 10th Mountain Whiskey is honored in the 10th Mountain Division. They really take veterans and the history very seriously. They give back to the communities and donate to veteran stuff. So
okay. So they're basically they made the company to commemorate the 10th Mountain Division.
Yes.
Okay. And so they do a lot of give backs to vets, you said?
Yes, they have. I wish I had my sheet. They donate to like the American Legions. They donate to all different programs that are trying to help with the veterans.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
It is. It is. It's amazing.
Yeah. It's always good to see. I have a lot of vets in my family myself, so it's always nice to see that they get, somebody tries to help them out too, because we know that a lot of the state organizations don't really do much.
Well, they base everything on federal funding, and sometimes that's not always available. So
Right.
I would throw a props out to another individual, Shiloh. I don't know if any of you guys know Shiloh, but he does a lot of raffles for veterans as well. So it's
Yeah,
awesome.
Shiloh does do a lot. Thank you for the heart me. Shiloh does do a lot. I've seen him do a lot. Thank you for the heart me. And I see he's doing a couple scholarship things too. He just did
Yeah,
4 scholarships here.
yeah,
So
$10,000 scholarships. That's huge. That's huge.
yeah, that is huge. So trying to think of something else that I wanted to ask you and I couldn't remember now. What's going on, Miss? So how long has the 10th Mountain been around and making
Uh,
spirits and offerings?
so what I'm seeing on the bottom of the bottle is established in 2014.
Okay. So 2014 to now, so 11 years
That's what
roughly.
I believe to be correct. I'm not 100% on that, but I think that is what it is.
Okay. All right. So does anybody have any questions in the chat for Iowa Bourbon Hunter or myself? We'll open it up a little bit and give them a chance to ask some questions.
Sure.
So in the meantime, I thank you for taking your time out to stop in with me and chat a little bit about the brand ambassador and a little bit about yourself as well. And so did you find how did you get hooked in the 10th Mountain?
I was on a live and ended up coming into the live with one of the representatives from 10th Mountain, Brian, and he sent me a message and asked if I'd be interested. So I said, absolutely. My favorite from 10th Mountain would probably be the rye whiskey.
So as Iowa said earlier, that if you go to 10th Mountain Spirit Co.,
10th
right?
Mountain Whiskey and Spirit Company.
All right. 10th Mountain Whiskey and
Whiskey.
Spirit Company on the internet. You can look them up and see. They're also on TikTok too.
They're on everything. They're on Facebook. They're on Instagram. They're everywhere. They're on Google search.
So if you guys want to check that out and go from there and figure out if there's something that you guys would like. I have not personally tried any of the 10th Mountain yet. I am looking to check into it myself also. And
Nico, their products are age statement at 2 years. They do a 2 year age statement, Nico. I know they're working on getting some older stuff. I can't tell you when that will be available, but right now their general line is 2 year age statements.
so 2 years age statements on everything, and they're working on trying to get some more.
Yep.
Yeah, that's that sounds like a progressive thing that they're trying to put out more items, which is
Well,
good.
and the goal is for those smaller distilleries and craft distilleries is to get a niche in the market. So they get their niche set, then they got room to work. So
Absolutely, absolutely. And it's always good to see some of these craft distilleries, you know, get larger if they can, and make it bigger
right.
and have offerings that people enjoy also. So that's great. Nico asked, "Do they source?"
Not at this time.
So they don't source anything at this time, Nico. Um, Io Bourbon Hunter, I don't think I have anything else to ask
Uh,
you or go over with you. If
all
there's
right.
anything that you would like to ask me or bring up that we didn't go over, that would be great.
I would just recommend if you have not tried their stuff, like say you can go online, you can order it online. They use a third party shipper. They can ship it directly to your house. So
Mhm.
I mean, they're bourbon, they're straight rye, they're single barrel, or they're single malt. They're all fantastic. I don't think anybody would be disappointed.
All right. Leah, welcome in. Also, I want to say that these episodes are sponsored by preetsliquor.com and also the Real Will Easy has sponsored the show also. So, and I want to thank them for sponsoring also. And I want to thank you, Phil, for coming on and talking about the
Absolutely.
10th Mountain. And I
Absolutely.
appreciate it. Cheers to you.
Cheers in return. Hi, Leah.